Hello, hi everyone. So first of all, I'd like to thank all of you who are here, and it's a great opportunity for me and to see all of the global logistics persons here, to see and to moderate them for the session today. So I have the privilege of moderating the panel that span nearly the entire supply chain spectrum for sourcing and manufacturing, not only in India but the global prospect as well. And in the retail and last mile delivery to shared infrastructure that quietly holds it all together. Let me introduce our panelist. I think it is already introduced, but let me introduce in the brief way today. So from Lenskart, we have Sunny Mutreja, that is Head of Procurement India and Asia. Also from KNS Shoetech, we have Sonal Jain as a Vice President. I would like everyone to think on the to just put a huge applause on this, right? And we also have Rahul Jain from Mars, Head of Supply Chain and Supply Chain Excellence. We also have Anil Mishra from Pladis Global, and we have Debjyoti Patra from Banas Amul family. So last one, we have the Hrishi Gandhi from Chief Growth Officer from Leap India. So this is what we are going to discuss and moderate the session over there. So I would like to say thank you to everyone. I would like if everyone can give a quick brief about yourself as well, so that audience here can know and understand what we are going to discuss today. Is it good to take a call? Yeah, just about ourselves, how we are going to discuss there, and what is the prospect that we are going to deal in the supply chain terminologies in India and overall global logistics purpose as well. I'd like to start from Mr. Hrishi, if you can start from there.
Good afternoon, guys. I am Hrishi Gandhi and I am representing Leap India. And predominantly at Leap, I am driving the growth function. And next month, we are planning to come out with the IPO also. So at Leap, we are growing at an exponential space, roughly 50 to 60% CAGR growth. And we try to provide turnkey solution related to supply chain.
Good afternoon, everybody. Myself, Debjyoti Patra. I am working in the capacity of Chief Supply Chain Officer, Banas Amul. So, which is, let's say, contributing to 45% of entire Amul. So, when it comes to the area of span of my control, it is about management of all the verticals of supply chain, right from procurement, then planning, and then downstream logistics as well as warehousing. And we try and connect these three functions with a newer function that we created recently of Supply Chain Center of Excellence, right? With our kind of massive network, which we felt that this is need of the hour, and we have seen from our fellow colleagues' presentation, the way the downstream requires a bit of transformation. Whereas we are started working on that front, but the kind of disruption we are seeing, right, with rapid rise of e-commerce and quick commerce, I mean, that as well cannot be undermined too, right? So we'll have to keep all this perspective in mind, though we have a fantastic, resilient supply chain, right? But still, I think any organization, any supply chain, for that matter, needs improvement, right, for their future stage of growth. Thank you.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Anil Mishra from the Pladis Global. I am handling the national logistics for the company, and we have a plant in the Himachal Pradesh. We take care of the exports, imports, as well as the domestics. And we have a global brand like Macquaties, Godaiva and Ulkar. And then across the country, we are servicing with the 13 warehouses from the north, south, east, west. As well as we have the global headquarters in the London. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I am Rahul Jain from Mars. So we are a global FMCG company. We are selling chocolates in India, we are selling pet food. So I head the customer service and supply chain excellence at Mars. So we are an FMCG which is becoming even more faster with DCOM, with quick commerce coming in. So we are also trying to learn from the likes of Blinkits and Zeptos of the world and trying to be as fast and meet and catch up to the speed of the consumer, because in the end, whatever we do is for the consumer. Thank you.
So good afternoon, everyone. I am Sonal Jain. I head procurement at a company called Shoetech. We are one of the largest manufacturers of footwear for brands like Puma, Reebok, Skechers, Asics, and many other brands, part of a HFL group, which is a listed company. So, I've been in the footwear business since I was born, I guess. It's been about more than 25 years that I've been in the footwear business, earlier handling retail, then licensing, and now manufacturing. So I had procurement over there. And I would say that the biggest challenge that I have seen in the last, especially 1 year, has been the disturbances, the geopolitical disturbances, and our supply chain faced huge challenges during that period. But we were able to sustain through some practical and some planned methods. So I look forward to participating in this session. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. So I head the procurement for one of the biggest omni-channel eyewear company in India, expanding rapidly outside India as well. And we are here to discuss more on how to be more agile, how to be more resilient in the supply chain in this VUCA environment. So look forward to the session.
Thank you. It's great to know about all of you. And I would now like to ask questions. I will start from Sunny said first.
Sure.
So, since Lenskart has built a vertically integrated model, right? From lens manufacturing to store fulfillment now in terms of logistics side. So in the speed and sustainability trilemma, where has procurement had to make the hardest trade-off, say, if you can say that, choose a near but the costlier vendor over a cheaper distance, one to hit a delivery SLA? So, would you like, what do you
Sure.
take on
So,
this?
everyone in supply chain, the main thing is, I guess, the sustainability has to be now integrated. So it is no longer an option. The main trade-off that everyone, especially in the supply chain and procurement, has to take is between the speed and the cost. So it depends upon your current environment, your current strategy. So example like quick commerce. So for quick commerce, speed is what it becomes of prime importance. Especially, and if you are a manufacturer, like example, and it depends upon the category of the material as well, and the categorization of your vendors as well. So it needs the trade-off needs to happen depending upon the situation. So just to give you an example, like a packaging material, especially primary, secondary or tertiary packaging material. The tertiary one has to, because it impacts your warehousing costing, so it has to be near to your factory. So the discussion or the decision has to be made rather than the cost on the speed. And how you also do that is depending upon the vendors, vendor manage inventory, or that is how the decision is made. And of course, as part of any vendor evaluation, the scorecard needs to be done, and scoring needs to be done basically based on your cost, your sustainability, your proximity to the vendor, or proximity to the manufacturing location, and how the innovation how fast they are able to innovate with you. So this is how the triangulation happens while taking any decision.
So talking about this, if you are talking about the quick commerce right now, in terms of FMCG sector, how you can differentiate your quick commerce in terms of lens marketing and lens providing supply chain?
Sure. So specifically in eyewear, when you are going for a prescription-based lenses means when your eye has a power. So that has to be customized. So in that case, of course, quick commerce will not work. But when you're going for your sunnies or glasses or shades, in that case which are standardized, of course, then you can go for your quick commerce part.
Okay, great. So next one that I have for you is as the eyewear manufacturer, right? Scaling omni-channel. online order fulfillment from stores, how has that changed when you demand from suppliers in terms of batch size and replenishment frequency?
Sure. So specifically in any manufacturing, whether retailing is happening or any quick commerce when you are doing, so the fulfillment or the ordering is only happening through an app or through a UI UX when you see on a mobile. But all the fulfillment happens from the manufacturing side. So in that case, the only ordering is happening. So all the manufacturing, all the fulfillment has to be based upon your better demand planning, your forecasting, and especially when you are on a hyper growth phase as well, depending upon companies to companies. If you are hyper growth, then even the planning goes for a toss. In that case, you need to maintain your stocks at the back end. But on the front end, like if you go for any retail stores, even like what we are mentioning as footwear as well, or eyewears or any apparels, in that case, basically the consumables or the materials that are enabling your sales, in that planning, that has the vendors needs to be that who can provide you, and as a part of your strategy for vendor development or vendor selection, whose turnaround is very quick. Cost comes in that case secondary. Of course, the quality takes precedence, and batch size who are able to help you with those batch sizing. As in a very hyper growth companies, the changes also happens very fast. So your vendor selection has to be the part of your strategy while choosing any vendor.
Thank you. It's glad to know that being an eyewear company, it's focusing a lot towards the quick commerce and the customer management. It's great. Thank you so much. Coming to the next one, I'm coming to Sonal Jain ma'am, right? So as a KNS Shoetech VP Procurement, so being a footwear manufacturing sits on long lead times, right? And leather components, seasonal design cycles are also there and need to be maintained per the requirement of the other company that you are going to fulfill. While retail now expects near instant fulfillment as well. So how do you reconcile a slow moving upstream supply chain with a downstream market that won't wait?
See, the point is, I feel, is not to make the factories run faster, right? It is not, the objective is not to make the factories run faster, but at the same time to be more responsive. I think more than of course, efficiency remains one of the biggest parameters, but responsiveness becomes the differentiating one. So, with the footwear, the longer lead times in terms of the entire development to delivery cycle is huge. Earlier it used to be about 18 months, right? When we were earlier working with a brand called Nike. But over the last few years, wherein we have seen so much of competition, so the focus has shifted the focus has now shifted to making the supply chain more responsive. So I would think that there would be three key things that we need to focus on, which we have been focusing on. One is the demand planning. So a better demand planning which ensures that in terms of the procurement part of it, to ensure that we are more responsive in terms of planning better. So the manufacturing unit gets a better visibility on what the delivery to the brands would be much ahead. Let's say 12 months plan in terms of blocking our capacities. And then we have an indicative projection on what products would be required. So we can plan the materials accordingly, right? So the second is smarter inventory management, wherein we identify some core components, some critical components, which are closer, which have shorter lead times, whereas some which have very long lead times, products which are coming from China, Indonesia, etc. So basis, after identifying that, we kind of design our inventory in a way that we do not stock everything. Again, as he was mentioning, vendor managed inventories.
Correct.
So there is some part of it which is a vendor management inventory, and the second part of it is which is we plan well in advance for those core materials, and then we leave the customization part towards the end. And then the third thing would be supplier collaboration. So wherein like we get projections, plans from our brands, we also work with the factories in a collaborative manner. It is not a transactional thing, it is more of a planned thing, wherein we block capacities with them, we give them, we work with them on the development calendar as well, right? So that when the time for the material procurement comes, we are able to procure faster, right? So, yeah, I feel that is what the differentiating factor becomes.
Great, it's great to know. And just talking about, since you talk about the supplier collaboration as well. So what challenges basically you face during the supplier collaboration right now? Because if I think that India is expanding their supply chain in terms of footwear particularly, from the marketplace to the last mile delivery, right? So how you are going ahead in this? How you are going ahead with supplier in terms of last mile delivery collaboration, supplier collaboration?
So see, I mean, last mile delivery, let's start with how we work with the brands. So yes, we have a development calendar with the brands also. Yes, there is no such this thing as a last minute demand ki aaj mere ko, I need this particular product tomorrow. It doesn't work like that. Because it's not just the procurement lead times, but it is the development lead time. There is a big development cycle to it. But then the way we shorten that development cycle is by keeping certain specific items with us, which are regular, and with which we can, customize the designs so that we are closer in terms of delivery to the customer, right? And the same exercise we do with our vendors. So and I said vendor collaboration, that also means that we have a development calendar from the brand. We also share a development calendar with our suppliers, right? And the second is, of course, shit happens. So, so having alternate supplier bases, right? So for every product we work with not just one supplier, we have 3 to 4 suppliers, right? If they're international, we also have a domestic option for it. So that is how we work with suppliers to be able to better cater to the demand of these brands.
Great.
I just want to add on the supplier relationship. Basically, it all depends on the supplier categorization as well. What the vendors are, strategic or core, leverage, routine vendors. So specifically for your strategic vendors and your bottleneck vendors is where strategic relationship management with the vendors comes into play to ensure supply continuity and risk mitigation.
Correct. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. It's a great detail on this. So going ahead with, thank you Sonal ma'am on this. So going ahead to Rahul Jain from Mars, Head Customer Service and Supply Excellence. So basically, as per my understanding, right, so Mars operates across both instant consumption categories, chocolates, candy, and daily staples, pet foods as well, right? So does demand driven mean is something fundamentally different from each, and how do you run one supply chain organization to serve both the systems?
Very good question. So fundamentally, yes, I mean both are different, but the basic framework remains the same, although the time constant changes for both. I mean, for instance, for chocolates or candies, it's an impulse purchase category. I mean, the sales or the demand depends upon the availability, the visibility on shelf, as well as the promos. The promos that we run are the ones which derive the hikes in sales. And also in candies, confectionaries, the RTM, the route to market is such that the distribution is very intense. I mean, the number of outlets that sell chocolates or candies is huge. Although the size of the outlet is small, but the number of outlets is very, very high. And hence, the on-shelf availability is very important factor. I mean, if the consumer does not find us on the shelf, it's a permanently lost sales for us. I mean, consumer can buy a dairy milk or a 5-star. So hence, this is how the chocolate or confections work. When we move to the pet care, the pet food category, it's a very different category. It's a staple, which means that the demand is very stable. the consumers are very brand loyal. They will not change the brand like anything. And also, we do not see very impulse purchase. I rarely see any pet parent ordering pedigree on Blinkit at 11 p.m. Versus a chocolate. So hence, the entire demand cycle or the time that we get is very, very high compared to a chocolate. And hence, what we do is the focus on the pet nutrition category is to be reliable and to also launch bulk pack sizes, because it's a staple, it's an everyday food. So the size of the pack also matters when it comes to pet nutrition. And hence what we do at Mars is we have two different segments altogether. So we have a Mars snacking segment, which has an entirely separate independent supply chain team. Then there is pet nutrition segment, which has a separate supply chain team. So when it comes to economics, I mean, the economies of scale that we have combining both the segments, we leverage through vendor negotiations and contracting. But the way we operate both the categories is very, very different, because both require different time constants. And hence, although we are under one umbrella, but we operate as entirely independent segments.
Okay,
To be
great.
fair to both, yeah.
Great, then it's a good term that we are segregating the business in terms of logistics as well. And yeah, thank you for that. So, going ahead, thank you for this, Rahul Jain sir. Now going ahead with Anil Kumar Mishra sir from Pladis Global. So my question to you is, as a logistics backbone that others rely on to hit their delivery promises, how much of the speed versus cost trilemma is actually decided by the logistics rather than the brand? And how do you push back when the client's speed ask isn't commercially sustainable for the network?
Thank you, Rishav. In fact, when we are talking about the logistics version, about the speed, cost and service, all three verticals definitely important for us to serve the customer. But major point that when we are talking about the how much we are taking a percentage, definitely it is not 100%. We always take the call for the 70-80%, and the 10-20% also leave to the business, brand, salesperson, because many times that linked with the entire business call. So most of the time when we are talking that what cost, what size of the product, where we have to send, which mode we have to send, definitely we can share those data to our custodians about the taking a call, because many times they require the stocks on the urgent basis. But that time it is not viable for as per the MOQ other things where we can say the cost to service will be the meet. But those time definitely we share the maths about behind that, what are the maths, what are the other options we have, and what are the we can do for them, so that it can be marry all together to support the entire business objective. As a logistics person, we support them, and as a back end side, and the brand take the call about the promises, what they are giving the promises, and we are working towards the promise, how to go along with the economical way without compromising the quality and service. And in regard to the last questions regarding you are talking about the how we are just convincing them, we normally not say to no. Always we share the data,
Okay.
we share the options, and we share their thoughts behind that. Because everyone knows that any business is running on the certain cost. It should not be on the any cost. So those time we have the close discussion and share our aspects, that what the logistics and supply chain are thinking, and how we make the services. Because in our category, biscuits and logistics is not that the very I can say the important like life-saving devices, and very important that it can't be late 1 day, 2 days. In those times, we share with them, and they take the joint call to service the orders.
Thank you, sir, for this explanation. And just a quick question, right? So, clients are diversifying supplier to de-risk as well. So, has that changed what the demand from your network? So basically, clients are diversifying suppliers to de-risk, right? In current terms, in current market scenario, right? So how that thing changed? What the demand from your network particularly?
In fact, right now, due to the geopolitical issues, we can't depend on the any particular suppliers, and it is very true for the everyone, not for the any our company, for the everyone, that we should have the diversified supplier to manage the so. If during the COVID scenario also, during the right now whatever the scenario and Western war is going on, that in those cases also, many of the companies are not 100% depend on the in local buying. They have the local as well as the outside buying also. In those cases, we have the diversified supplier, and mainly when supplier selection is happening, that is near to the plant, so that it can support to the sustainability, support to the cost, it is make to the supply continuity, so that it all angle it can be service. And in the our cases also, in the logistics part also, if we can see that, if the earlier we were talking about, we can have the one plant where we can service across the country, but whenever the demand pattern is changing, we can diversify our co-manufacturing and our plant also across the demands where we can get the benefit.
Thank you so much, sir, for giving a good brief on this. So going next to Debjyoti Patra, sir, from Amul. So talking to you, Amul is one of the biggest FMCG sector in India, right? So Amul supply chain starts from not only from the warehouse, but from the farm gate where the farmers work, right? Arguably the most religions tested model in India, but on perishable and thousands of small producers, what can e-commerce and quick commerce supply chain actually learn from a cooperative dairy model that they are currently ignoring right now?
Okay, so to start answering that question, I will start with a story. Back in 2020, when COVID was raging on, roads were closed, factories were shut down. Supply chains were finding it difficult to keep the supply line on. Yet, every day morning, one fantastic phenomena happened across villages of India, which is a man with his liters of milk walking up to our collection center and pouring milk. That milk will be tested, it will be collected, it will be transported to our factories, processed, and it will be dispatched every day. It was not merely a technological innovation. It's not logistics, but neither it is automation. The thing is completely trust. And the institution we are talking about here is Amul. We'll have to understand how the origination of Amul happened, right? So it was not created in a boardroom. Rather, it was created by a group of rebellion farmers who decided to yield against the cloy middlemen who were exploiting them, badly, right? So it is based on the principles of, again, trust and shared ownership. I personally feel that there are certain things to carry for these industries, right, who are operating presently. To name a few, obviously, I would suggest start with the why. The why should be very much clear, right, in any business. Many organizations I have seen, they start with the what, right, and then that what becomes why, but how comes first then, right?
Yeah.
So in our case, when we start with a why, we are very clear. We practice that why every day. Why we are here, why we exist. We exist here to ameliorate lives of small farm holders and to support their livelihood. Very clear. Number 2, build trust before you build business. Most of the organization today, I see, I have seen they are talking about technology, artificial intelligence and things like that. But at Amul, we really believe this and we practice this again. Trust is a strong operating leverage.
Yeah, that is correct.
Whenever a farmer, owner of ours, or milk, or any business partner at the upstream or downstream, they are rendering their services. They are having one thing very much clear in their mind, that this system is based on trust, transparency, and fairness.
Yeah.
Number 3, build resilience over a distributed network. From day one, if you see, Amul is very much distributed, right? So we have number of farmer owners from whom we are collecting milk. We have a lot of collection centers. We have many factories, and then we have many distribution centers. And the way they are designed, I mean, it is not that right now we are using digital twins and things like that, where we're trying to simulate, right, the impact of any, disruption, etc. But this has been done since long, right? One node misses out to deliver or to produce or to collect, another one is there to back it up. Last and foremost, the most important point is build a core competency which is not easy to copy. Most of the companies nowadays, I'm seeing everybody is going after the speed race, right? Speed is good, speed is valuable, right? But sometime we'll have to ask this question, could it be copied? I feel personally it could be copied, right?
Yeah.
So most of the supply chains you see, they're built backward from the customers, whereas Amul's is built forward from the producers. We must give equal strategic importance to the first mile as we are giving it now for the last miles, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm going to end my speech with, I would say. So those are a few pointers which we must keep in mind, right, when we are trying to set up a business which is going to deliver sustainable profitability, and the winners of tomorrow definitely going to be not the ones who are delivering it the fastest or at lowest cost, rather be the one who learns to orchestrate between speed, cost, and stakeholders' value with sustainability.
Correct. Thank you. So, as you said that you first focus on why, right? And it is the conditions of every business that you are talking about. So, after getting the understanding of why it is happening, so how you are following up, how we can minimize, right? So, what's the basic challenges in terms of directly dealing with the farmers or the people who is not very much organized in the B2C sector directly dealing in? So how you understand that this will affect and make some challenges in terms of supply chain and logistics terminology in terms of procurement?
Yeah, in terms of procurement, see, when we see the big picture and every executive council we are having this discussion, there are serious challenges up ahead, right? One, the big point that we are discussing obviously is sustainability. Earlier we were talking about efficiency and cost, now sustainability has entered the boardroom, which changed the equation, right? And now we'll have to balance this tripod, right? Now let's say with quick rise of quick com and e-com, right? What we are doing, we are pushing our factories, right? We're rather breaking down our factories, which were earlier mega, right? We are trying to go closer to the customer. As we are going closer to the customer, we are creating cold chain infrastructure. In a sense, what we are doing, we are increasing our carbon footprint. We are happy that our milk procurement is going up, right? We are currently procuring around 30 million odd liters of milk a day, right? So which means a huge infrastructure of cold chain transportation, etc., right? So whereas we are an economic backbone, we are supporting the country socio-economically, but there are other challenges of sustainability, like we pack the product, right? We are energy guzzlers. We dispose of almost tens of thousands of tons of plastic in different categories, right? Type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4. Now, how we are going to, as responsible leaders, offset that? A few examples I will bring to the table, how we are trying to, offset this carbon we are emitting. Number one, recently we have, or rather we are trying to go into our reverse supply chain only. Where lies the opportunity? So we started collecting the cow dung. We have cattle, right? Millions of cattle. So we started entering into a joint venture with Suzuki Corporation, where we have started setting up biogases. As of now, 3 biogas plants are up and running, and it is literally fueling your automobile cars. Now, how we are trying to leverage on that? We are trying to leverage on that this way, that all the transportation we are, right now having line haul or last mile distribution is going to be fueled with that, right? So another 5 is going to come, right?
Yeah,
And
that
we're
is
not
a
going to
great
stop
initiative,
there.
I
Utterly.
believe,
Yeah.
from your side. That is a great
Yeah,
initiative.
yeah, yeah. Another one I would suggest, which has saved millions of tons of carbon emission. The model predominantly, majority of our sourcing happens in Gujarat circle only, and then whatever factories we have, we call rest of India, right? Rest of India, then through line haul, through tankers, we dispatch it, right, to those facilities. Now earlier we were trucking it all the way, right? Now with a good amount of infrastructure support from government, right, we have started truck on train. Now truck on train itself, right, it is making it faster, right, plus we are saving on a lot of carbon emission as well, right? So these are a few things we are doing, right, and then or alternative plastics, etc. we are carrying out research. I can go on for days, but you know, with sake of time, right, I'll have to stop here, I believe. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this great initiative that you are doing there. So my last question now with Hrishi sir from Leap India. So as a chief growth officer, you're watching where India's supply chains are expanding, quick commerce, EV, auto, pharma and cold chain. Which sector is quietly become the biggest growth driver right now? And is it one most people on this panel wouldn't expect today?
So let me expand your question and let me take one step back. So let me share certain statistics with the members over here, that across the globe in terms of palletization adoption is very mature as compared to India. So let's take example of US, Europe, Australia, New Zealand. Per person 1 pallet or 1 ton load 1 pallet. Okay. In India, we all know what is our population. Our overall organized market, pallet adoption is around 10 million plus minus, and predominantly we control market with that. So it is not one particular industry. So we take pride that every 2 years our number one customer changes. So historically the early adopter in India used to be the all MNC company, because they adopted pallet and they have seen palletized movement of cargo, cost saving, speed, efficiency. So could be Nestle, Mondelez, Coke, Pepsi, whosoever who came to India, they were the first adopter. Of late, Indian corporates have also started adopting that. And one of my co-panelists who is sitting next to me on the right hand side, even though it's a cooperative structure, but they are adopter of technology. We face challenge, with some of the corporates that they try to do some jugaad as against the adoption. So it is not only one particular industry is growing. We cater to some 30, 40 plus industry. So it covers e-commerce, quick commerce, dairy industry. You name any industry, like we are there. We are developing textile industry, those who were not exposed to movement of palletized cargo. So I can give you n number of examples. Automobile sector also, it's the biggest contributor for us in that sector. And this journey will at least continue for another few decades.
Okay, thank you. Thank you everyone for giving a very good, make sense examples and actually leading the supply chain of India's global logistics side. So it's a great opportunity and privilege to be with you here. Thank you. Thank you for this.